For create REST API in Express.js, we need to first create a folder. I'm creating a folder called REST API. Now we are opening our folder in VS Code. Now we are gonna opening terminal. You can open it manually, or you can use Ctrl, Shift and backtick to open terminal. On the whole video we will use Bun, and we are initialize new Bun or not the Bun project. It will generate a new initialize new Bun project for creating Express app. So it is something like node environment, and you can use npx or pnpm or yarn, anything that you want, but I prefer Bun, and it is very powerful as package manager and built in a TypeScript transpiler. Okay, now we have a new fresh project, and we can do any we can create API in TypeScript environment. So without doing a manual configuration, we can easily transpile TypeScript directly with Bun. So now we're gonna running our main file. Our file name is index.ts. So we are running Bun run index.ts, and we don't need Babel or TSC or TypeScript compiler for transpile TypeScript. We are doing this with Bun, so it is very powerful, so you can use it. Alternative Node.js, it is also JavaScript runtime environment. After that, I'm giving some script here. Let's start the script and some commands, and I'm doing this npm or Bun start, then it will be our server will be started, and everything is imported on index.ts file in our app. That's why we are just starting, and everything depends on our main file. So now we are installing Express and type of Express. So just one add Express and type of Express, it will be installed. We need to give was flag for whenever we made any changes on index.ts file, and everything is dependent on main file. This is index.ts, and when we start, and our server will be not closed, and when we made any changes, then it will reflect, and we will give live output every time without restarting our server every time. So this is the benefit of was flag. Okay, now we are starting our server again, and in this time our server is not stopped after starting. So this is the benefit, and whenever we made any changes, it is reflect on our console on any. Okay, now we are importing Express and initialize new Express app, and you can give it any name. I'm giving name app. Okay, now we are creating our first endpoint in slash. So this is our root endpoint for root environment, and when we will hit, like we are using a 3000 port, and you can use any port like 3000, 5000 or anything that you want. You can test it out. For using static value, we will use like you will take our port number in a variable to reuse it every time, and whenever we made changes in single place, then it will reflect it everywhere where we will use it in our application. So this is the benefit of So this is the best practice to organize our code. Okay, now we are remove the static port and we are just using backtick, and we are using a dynamic port that we have stored our port values. So this is it. We are changing the static value to port. Okay, now when we made changes in the single place, it will reflect it everywhere. Or we can use like environment variable to keep our port number. Okay, so this is our simple Express app. So this is app. We have initialized our app. Our base endpoint is slash. So when we hit localhost slash, our port number is 5000. So localhost slash 5000, then this route will be called and we will get output hello world. So this is get method, and make sure that browser only support get method, and browser not support another method like post, delete, or put pass. So for that we will use Insomnia. You can use like Postman or any cloud hosted or alternative anything you can use. So we are getting output, and this is the JSON output. We are using response.json, or before we are using we was using just normal text. So now we are gonna split our terminal to installing and running our server. So installing Prisma, where we need to install Prisma to use MongoDB database, and with Prisma with same functionality, everything is same, almost same. We can manage 6 type of database like MySQL, Postgres, SQLite, MongoDB, and much more. So with same functionality we can manage multiple database. This is the benefit of Prisma, and Bun is very faster to installing packages or dependencies. So why I am using Bun every time. So with Prisma we can manage 5 or 6 type of database with same functionality. We don't need like Mongoose for MongoDB, PGSQL, or any other library or different queries to remember. So we don't need it. So end of the day we need just output to show on our boss or client so what we want. So Prisma give us the powerful features to work with databases. So you can test it out without using Mongoose for MongoDB or any other library for Postgres or anything else. So here I am trying to Bunx, but I have made some changes on my machine, that's why Bunx is not working. So that's why I am using npx, or you can use yarn or pnpm, anything else. So we have initialized new Prisma. So and that after that it is generated a new Prisma folder and schema.prisma for our keeping our schema, and it is default is Postgres, and it generated a new database URL in the environment variable. So the default is Postgres. If you use Postgres, then you need to change the username, password, and database name. So we will remove it, and you can check it what that database is Prisma support. So just control and space on your keyboard, then you will able to see we can use 6 type of database with same functionality with Prisma. That is the benefit of Prisma, and everything is type safety, and we can get every type of your data shape what you are using in your project. So you will get every type safety, you will use same functionality, and behind the scenes Prisma will manage everything without doing this to you. More time consuming, a lot of time will be saved to work with building REST APIs. So here I'm removing top of the comment. Now I'm giving MongoDB. So for stack. So before, after that, I'm using MongoDB Atlas. You can find it by MongoDB Atlas on your browser, and you need to create an account, and you will find a lot of videos and tutorials on YouTube or Google how you can create. So I'm not showing you how you can create MongoDB new account and how you can get connection string. So I have already created, that's why I'm using. So you can create this account and you will find connection string, or you can use it on locally. Download MongoDB and you can use it locally to store and practice. So I prefer, most of the time I prefer PostgreSQL for my project and making tutorial videos for people, but this is a stack project, that's why I'm just using MongoDB. So MongoDB is very powerful and very good for real-time application. So here is my connection string. Please don't use my connection string, it will be garbage collection on my database. So I'm not hiding my connection string anymore, please don't use it. So after that we need to create a model called, we will create a model, product model. So I have giving exam just some command on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT create a product simple model to me, and you can search on browser how to create Prisma and MongoDB model, and you will find a lot of documentation how you can create. So Prisma provide a lot of documentation how you can create Prisma and MongoDB model. So here we have just some everything is similar, but something very few part of just different. So that's why you need to just check it out on their official documentation. So everything is similar, just for MongoDB or for some cases it is different, like unique ID for every item. It is just configuration is different for Prisma, for Postgres or MySQL and MongoDB. So we are just creating new model, the product, and we need to generate type for it. So after that we need to generate type. It will generate types for based on our shape of data. So after that Prisma will be understand what type we have and what model or table we have to store data on the database. So if you use, like, you can use here Banix. I am using npx at this time because I have made some changes on my machine, my Linux machine, and Banix is not working. I need some configuration. So we don't need migration. So migration means when you made changes, when you use like Postgres, MySQL or any other database instead of MongoDB, when you made changes on your schema file, then you should create migration to keep your history on a file, and you can switch it anytime. So this is the benefit of migration. So this is the command. Just you can give any name, and it will create a new folder on Prisma directory called migration, and will keep history, everything that whenever you changes, and just keep it. So that is it, and this is model. This is our Prisma. Just very simple, without using MongoDB or Mongoose library or PGSQL library or anything else, like for MySQL library. We can do it easily. Like this same functionality you can use. You can create like relational or non-relational databases. So this is the benefit of Prisma, and almost same functionality. You can manage 6 type of database. So you need to switch any database anytime for your client or your office boss needs. So you can switch anytime. So we are just using here. So you can create separate file for this, but we will use Prisma client in here. So you will search on the Google how you can find Prisma client, how we can create Prisma client file. So here this is our. So if you use Prisma in Next.js, so there has a different configuration. So you can keep your Prisma file in separate, just simple file, and you can reuse it. But I am just making simple API, that's why I am just import everything in the single file. So now I'm just using await. So before that I need to make sure that my function is async function. So now I am able to use await, and I have the suggestion. Just look at this Prisma know which type of tables or database and type of data I have, and Prisma suggest me that product is all I have on the my schema. So because I have generated just npx Prisma generate, that's why I'm getting this suggestion. So if you need suggestion, so must be npx or panx or pnpx Prisma generate after making changes. So whenever you made changes, must you will use Prisma generate to generate just type for your Prisma client to getting suggestions. So we are not getting user suggestion because we have not made any generate type. That's why we are not getting suggestion for user. So now we will just pass this data on our session. Just message is success, and data as we are passing product, and we have the shape of data. We know what we need and what we have, just ID, name, and description. This is our shape of data, and how cool is that? Now we have everything is very typed safety. So this is the benefit of Prisma. So how Prisma make easier, and it is just empty. Our database is empty because we have no product in our database. So we're gonna just creating a new endpoint called create to create product. Create, and you can give it any name, and you can give multiple slug called like /API slash v1 or slash a API slash product slash create, or you can use anything. So you have a lot of methods here, you can use it. So you can check it out. For we are just gonna creating new product, that's why we are using this test product name, price and description. After that we are just passing these products as a response on the client. Now we need to check it out, but browser does not support post method. Browser only support get method, post is not supported. That's why we need to use Insomnia. Okay, for testing APIs I am using Insomnia, and it is very powerful. It supports a lot of requests like HTTP request, GraphQL, or for real-time communication tester as a client. It supports WebSocket. So now we're gonna just creating new project, and I'm using Cloud Sync. You can use local sync for development purpose, and if you need to share it, and it is open source but have some limitation, but you can send unlimited request in free version. So you can check it out. It is better. In my case it is better than a Postman. Just giving my project name, just creating a collection, and I'm giving the environment variable called base URL, and my base URL is HTTP localhost 5000. So giving the name. Now we can use it everywhere in our project. So without manually doing this, doing set the page URL every time, we'll just use in single place, and we will use it in the multiple time. So just type underscore and space, control space, and then you will give transition that, and after hovering it you will get a value what you have. So 5000 slash create, it will called, and must set post request. So after hitting this request, it will create a new product. It is just dummy and static data. In our data is not every time just new data. We are just using dummy data. And now, okay, this is post method. Now we are hitting post method, hit. I think maybe you do. Okay, we are getting response from our server, and so that's why it is working successfully. And after refresh, we are getting our first data. So our database has only one data. We are getting everything from this database. So without doing the static data, we will use dynamic data from user. So user can pass like or user or admin can pass like product name, price, description, or anything else, and just displaying this client. So we will get the client sending send data in request.body. So it will be not work because we need to do something. So if you use like if you need to use like video, audio or images, then you will use form data, but in this case we are just using this JSON type data, just key value pair. That's why I'm selecting JSON. And for product you must need like for images, so you can use form data to passing images. So I'm using this JSON. I'm creating just copy and paste data from the server. Now just commenting out it, and I need to make it stringify. So stringified. Okay, it is need to remove space. So now it is working. So my voice is just cropped during recording. That's why I'm using voice over. That's why this problem. So you can use Express.js for dummy data. So here you can use a lot of suggestion you can use in your project to testing without give manually. You have a lot of faker or faker data in here. So we are not getting anything. So after sending request, send, it is empty. So our body is undefined because before using request.body we need to use a middleware. So you can use body parser.json. We need to parse our body by, we need to use like Express.json, or you can use third parties called body parser.json as a global middleware. So we are using app.use. So we are using use for using global middleware, and this middleware will be affected or reflected will be everywhere in our project. So this will be reflected on everywhere in our project. So we are just parsing our body, or we are just converting our body as a JSON and just passing to then we will now able to get our data what we are passing as a request.body. So now you can get it by request.body.name, email name, or price description, or you can just extract it and make sure that you have used Express.json as a global middleware. So this is a middleware, this will be work as a global middleware to just parse our body and just making accessible request.body data everywhere in our app. So this is it. Now okay, now we will use the dynamic data to create a product. So we are passing like name, email, name, price, and description. We will use Express for without doing every time like different data, just testing purpose. We are using just fake data, just fake price, and you just type and enter or space, then you will find suggestion that your expected fake data is already have on the faker. So I like this is so much and it is so beautiful, so that's why I prefer Insomnia. It is everything is very powerful and it is very lightweight and open source alternative to Postman. So now we will use this we will extract data. So we know what we have, but you can consolidate what you have on your request body and you can extract it, your data directly, or you can use requested body.name, but we have just same name, our expected field name on data to create, and our requested body.name is same. That's why we are not using like name colon name, so we are not using like that. So key and value is same, that's why we can use just name without using like that. So this is it. Now okay, so this is my voiceover. So I have a lot of good explanation on the video. So before using it, you need to check it out what if your exact data is getting or not, or you can validate your data before using it. You can use dot, or make sure that you are using try catch block to if you have any error, then you will able to catch any unexpected error anytime. So it is best practices. So maybe we have some problem on the VS Code. So now we are going VS Code console. So okay, this is an problem occurred. So error is everything. So price is invalid. So price we are passing from our client. It is string, but we need to convert it as a number because price is accept float or an integer, any integer number. So we are passing dummy data, just created with dummy name, description and price. It is just created. So every time we hit, it will generate with new data every time randomly. So this is CRUD is good for testing APIs, and it has built in on Insomnia. So I like it so much. It's a very beautiful feature on Insomnia, and day by day they are upgrading their project. You can test it out, and we have now 2 products. So before that, okay, now we need to update our project. So you can see that I am getting the suggestions because I am using a Codium extension, and we don't need make our IDs number because our MongoDB ID is string. So you can give it any name. We are using pass. You can use put request to update data for better understanding, and you can give it any name, and make sure that for accessing dynamic data, this is the colon ID is the placeholder for accessing dynamic any type of data. So we are just duplicating our request to reuse it, just changing name to update products. After that, okay, I'm just changing name to update, and I'm giving name from create product. So before I have created a new product, and I'm just copy this name to update this product details. Okay. Okay, this is the placeholder, and this name and this colon ID must be same, but you can give it any name, like you can use product ID or any name, but request.params this name and your placeholder name like update colon product ID, and this request.params dot you will get product ID. So we are now passing data, but for updating we are just removing, just we will pass, just we will just update name. But maybe we have this problem because in the database we are setting multiple fields, but we are not passing multiple fields. That's why this problem. So for that, before it you can get your data and directly passing it on the as a update data to your Prisma. You can create a new variable called update data, and like before you can get the data with this ID, and if you have ID then okay, so if you have ID then if you user pass, to make it, you can make it optional, just you can make it optional, just directly passing everything in here. You will just use like before, just you can use updated data. So you can get the data like that, and if you don't have data then you can return an error. You can use try catch block to catch your data, and you before directly passing to data as updated data, you can use if have name to your request.body to passing by user, or you can use this previous name, previous price, previous description, or user new past description. So this is it, and if we have any error then it will be cached by the catch block. Okay, now we're going to create a new endpoint, new API called delete, and you can give it any name. We are just extracting our ID by request.params, and you can give it any name like ID, product ID, user ID, or any name that you want. But request.params is exact access the same name what you pass as colon ID. It is a just placeholder for your ID to get the exact ID from your client. So this is our app. We are just initialize Prisma. We are just using initialize Express using this middleware for globally extract request.body. We are using a port in a constant to change in a place and reflect everywhere, and this is our get endpoint to getting everything from our product table in our database. So we are getting data from the database, and our